Breakdown, and today I'm going to talk about the top news of this week. Starting off, I'm going to talk about the firing of Jason Kidd. Ever since Joe Prunty has taken the role as interim coach after Jason Kidd has been fired, the Bucs have been playing, very well. The way he coaches, he expanded their offense and defense, really changed the way they've been playing, and they've gone 4-0. And Giannis especially is highly benefiting from this. He's in those 4 games, Giannis is averaging 33 points, about 13 rebounds, 7 assists, and probably more than 50% field goal percentage. And not only him, Brogdon put up a career high of 32 points, and Middleton has still been putting up all-star numbers. And remember, Jabari Parker is around today and tomorrow is going to start getting playing time. It's going to be limited, but the future looks really bright. Next, we have the DeMarcus Cousins injury. Wow, this is possibly one of the biggest injuries that we'll have all year, even though as late it is as a season. When he got injured, only 30 minutes of playing time, he had a triple-double, which he's like the only center in the NBA to have 3 triple-doubles. And the way he was playing that year, he's playing the best he had all career. I looked at the numbers, and he's the only player in NBA history to average 25 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and then 1.6 blocks and 1.6 steals. And those are some pretty complete numbers for a pretty complete player. And not only does this injury affect him, but it affects his whole team. Because now Anthony Davis is really their only star. And he's been playing like Anthony Davis, but with DeMarcus Cousins by his side, it feels like he can play better with him and not without him. And also for trades, because with him being injured, they're looking for a need for a power forward or center. And they're trying to get Mirotic, but so far that deal hasn't worked out. And they're possibly maybe even trading Davis, but I don't know. I think they should probably purposely lose around probably the rest of the games, or try to not exactly win, because they don't really have a chance without Cousins. They've lost their past 3 games, and you might as well try to get a good pick and try to draft someone good, because future doesn't look bright for them as it does for the Bucs. Next up is the All-Star game. The All-Star game, to me, I think it's bad. Not only are they having a draft, but I wouldn't be surprised if the score total is over 500 points. Back in the 80s and 90s, the All-Star game was actually worth watching, and being the All-Star game MVP meant something. Now, in today's games, the All-Star game doesn't mean anything. Nobody watches it because honestly, it's basically street ball except on an NBA court with the best players. It's worthless to watch. And how they get the players on the team, Draymond Green made the All-Star team. Draymond Green. Sir, list of players that probably could have made it. Why is Lonzo Ball on that list?
All of my boys will be in an All-Star game one day.
Lonzo Ball, a rookie, so overrated. But if you look at the numbers, Draymond Green is averaging around 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Lonzo Ball has averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. So let's see who Draymond Green is working with. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, not much. But Lonzo Ball, he's got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Brook Lopez. Draymond Green, ask yourself, are you good at basketball?
No.
Do you look like Donkey from Shrek?
Yeah.
Does anybody like you?
Nope.
Is Cristiano Felicio better than you?
Yeah.
Yeah. After covering the All-Star game, I think it's time to move on to probably one of the biggest things that happened this year, and probably one of the most hyped. The Blake Griffin trade to the Pistons. I mean, this was crazy because it works well and it doesn't work well for both teams. So we're going to talk about the Clippers side to start off. So they're in the rebuilding process, so they're trying to get rid of all their older players, veterans. I mean, they're soon going to trade DeAndre Jordan and Williams, which I talk about more in my next video. I talk about the top trades that could and will happen. Because getting Blake Griffin away clears a lot of cap space because his salary is over like $120 million. So I could give their team more cap space to maybe sign a free agent, which can help them in the long run. And let's see who they got back. I mean, they got Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley. Two above average players, as Avery Bradley isn't playing pretty average. Although, I mean, 2 years ago or a year ago when he played for the Celtics, I mean, he was playing really good. 18, 19 points. He possibly close to all-star level playing, but this year it's not working, and he's playing literally as an average shooting guard. But Tobias Harris, I think he could be a future all-star, as he's extremely underrated. He's putting up all-star level. He's averaging like 18 points, 5 to 6 rebounds, some assists. I mean, he's playing really well. And I think, although they're not really young, I mean, he still can be core parts of the team that could use some upper depth with that. Now for the Pistons, I mean, whether the front court duo of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, I mean, that's one of the best duos in the NBA, if not the best, mainly because DeMarcus Cousins has been injured. I mean, those two can work very well together, as Blake Griffin isn't the greatest mid-range shooter, and Andre Drummond is easily the best, if not one of the top best rebounders in the game. The thing I'm worried about is, I mean, his contract's really large, and if you look at the other players on that roster, the only player that's capable of actually playing well is Reggie Jackson. I mean, he's playing better than he did last year, as he played that horrible last year, but he's not playing amazing. And really, all you have really is hopefully you can get like Luke Kennard, Ish Smith. I mean, otherwise in those two, there's not a lot of talent, but if they can get a good pick, I mean, who knows? They can start building a good team, and with the East so talent deficient this year, and there is really any team can be a playoff team. I mean, I believe this Detroit Pistons team can possibly be a 7-8 seed, and who knows, they can make a run, but I doubt that. And this happened, I mean, very recently, is James Harden, 60-point triple-double, first in NBA history. And I mean, that raises the question, I mean, should he be MVP? Or, I mean, that game, I mean, 60 points and have a triple-double, that means you had 60 points and 10 assists. That means you at least counted for the 80 points. If you count for 80 points, I mean, it's been a while since someone has really been that involved point-wise in the team. And really, for Houston, I mean, talking about Houston, Chris Paul and James Harden, one of the best guard duos in the NBA, as when Chris Paul came back from injury, they started playing really well and looked like a possible competition against the Warriors this year. And as the Timberwolves have been rising, and possibly some other teams can rise against them, the Warriors dynasty may not last as long as everyone thought it would be. I mean, that Rockets team, I mean, that's filled with good players. I mean, you have easily one of the best 6 men in the game in Eric Gordon, and you have a solid, young, rebounding center in Clint Capella. I mean, the only thing is, I mean, that team isn't extremely young, but as Chris Paul, I mean, he's pretty old, but that team can possibly win multiple NBA championships. And some of our injuries, I mean, John Wall got injured for a couple of months, which is, I mean, pretty big because that Wizards team, I mean, he'll probably be out for most, if not all, the regular season. And that Wizards team, I mean, that had a chance to be a possibly like 5-6 seed team, but without him, I mean, it feels like Bradley Beal could take a big role in that offense. And I don't know, without him, I mean, the thing is, he hasn't played the best year. He's been averaging like 19 points, 9 assists, which isn't usual to him. And one thing is, he's one of the players, I mean, you always think of him, you think of him as an all-star, but this year he hasn't played as well as everyone thought it would be. So that's it for this video. Subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends about it, and stay here. Make sure to keep an eye on this channel, as in a couple of days I'll be posting a video about the 5 players that will be traded before deadline, and I'll talk about the players, their numbers, and who they're going to be traded for and where. And that's all. Thanks.